What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. In today's video, we're going to be covering 10 hidden gem catchers within MLB The Show 23 as we seek to finish off this series. I want to quickly apologize to you guys for the lack of videos in the past month or so. I've just been very busy with things going on in real life right now, so I've just been extremely busy and haven't had much time to keep up with my video series. So with that being said, I did want to take some time today to get this one out of the way. That way we can finally say that we've capped this off once we get through our pitchers. With that being said, though, I hope that you guys will leave a like on this video, comment, and subscribe. Your feedback, as always, is going to help push out these videos. If you want to see your name here promoted on the channel on these videos, make sure you go to the link in the description and help support us on Patreon. And as always, your likes, your comments, your ability to subscribe to the channel is always going to help boost up the channel and continue growing this channel so we can spread all this valuable information to as many people as possible. And so our like goal on today's video is going to be 42 likes. And without further ado, let's jump into 10 hidden gem catchers within MLB The Show 23. The first player I intend to highlight in today's video is Christian Vasquez, a catcher for the Twins. He is 32 years old, so you're not going to get a ton of time out of this guy, but if you're starting off looking for a catcher that can impact your team now, this is a guy to be looking out for because he's going to be good both defensively and offensively, and that's something that you can definitely use in a plug-and-play bridge type of a player. With 77 contact versus right and 64 contact versus left, he's coming in at a very serviceable level at the plate. He also has 76 vision and 73 batting clutch, which is really good to start off with, especially with this type of player, this caliber of player. And he's going to come in with 84 fielding, 63 arm, 67 arm accuracy, 83 reaction, and 65 blocking. He's going to be fairly serviceable back there at catcher. You're not going to see him throwing out a ton of runners or anything like that, but that's not really what you would be bringing this guy in for. He also comes in with rally monkey, pinch hitter, bad ball hitter, and catcher pop time, which is actually going to help him in throwing out those runners. Exceptionally useful for any catcher that you have whenever you're trying to play defensively there. This guy at 32 years old, like I said, has some value for a little bit of time for you. Should definitely be early on your list. Second on this list is going to be Haas, and I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, but I think you'll be able to pretty quickly see why this guy is going to have a lot of value. This is kind of your old school power type of catcher that has the arm that you're looking for, but is missing in some other areas. His contact against righties is not going to be great at 49, but his contact against lefties is actually fantastic at 80. His power versus righties is also dipped down to 69, but his power versus lefties is 87. So you know that this guy is going to be putting the ball over the wall whenever he has the correct matchups. He doesn't have any great statistics in his vision, discipline, or batting clutch categories, but defensively he has that arm that a lot of people are looking for, 79 arm strength and 74 accuracy. He also has 67 blocking, which is again serviceable. He's just not going to have great fielding statistics, which is not necessarily the most important thing for a player at this position. If you really just want a guy that is going to help you a little bit, maybe hit a couple of home runs, which is an old school type of a catcher thing, and is going to also have the arm to throw guys out, this might be your player. He also comes in with catcher pop-up time and night player, which again, as we said with our first candidate, is going to help them out quite a bit at that position. And neither of the players that we've highlighted so far are really going to be particularly expensive, and you're probably going to get a couple more years out of this guy because he's only 30 right now. A lot of times the catcher position is a good type of position to get a DH type of a player, and with our third entry into this list, we're highlighting Mike Zunino, who's pretty much going to be that for you. He doesn't come in with good contact versus right, only 22, which is pretty bad actually, to be honest with you. 70 contact versus left, which is serviceable, but he's got that 84 power against righties and 99 power versus lefties, so you know he has home run capability. His fielding is decent, his arm is not very good at all, so I can't say that he's going to be the best catcher or the best defensive player. He also doesn't add any secondary positions, but again, we're not really bringing him in for those capabilities. If you're bringing in this guy, you're bringing him in for the home run potential, and that's exactly what Zunino is going to provide for you. He does not have any quirks, but at a 74 overall, 32 years old, you might get a couple of useful years out of this guy as a role player, and he's not going to be expensive at all. Another player that is going to be easily overlooked here is Sebi Zavala, and again, I'm probably pronouncing that one incorrectly, but he comes in with 68 contact versus right. That's really the only thing to highlight there, and 69 batting clutch, which is a really nice stat when you compare to a lot of other catchers. So that batting clutch is really probably why you're going to be bringing this guy in, and some serviceable numbers versus righties. He has good fielding, a good arm strength, not great arm accuracy, but good reaction and solid blocking as well. He also comes in with breaking ball hitter. As a 71 overall 29-year-old, I really don't think a lot of people would look to this guy to add him to the roster, but if you need a good second catcher, or you just need a plug-and-play bridge type of a player, you're going to get a couple of decent years out of this guy. I really think that this guy has more value than a lot of people would think because of the way he's built. As we approach the middle of this list, I'm going to highlight Corey Lee of the Astros, a 70 overall with B potential that has secondary position flexibility, able to play the corner infield spots and the corner outfield spots. He is 24 years old with a B potential. There are a lot of high-end potential players at this position, and to be honest with you, a lot of those players never actually reach that potential. This just seems to be a position where they seem to really give players high potential. They seem to be drafted highly, and that's because it is one of the positions that is harder to find a real stud or a real gem at than any other. But the reason I want to highlight him is because of that B potential and because of his well-rounded nature as a prospect. This is not going to be the most expensive catcher prospect out there. There were 3 or 4 A potential guys ahead of him, as well as some B potential guys. But he comes in with mid-50s contact. He comes in with close to 50 power on both sides. He comes in again with close to or above 50 in vision, discipline, and batting clutch. And then his defensive capabilities are already really solid with that 65 fielding, 72 arm strength, 58 arm accuracy, 68 reaction, 75 blocking, and 76 speed. He's a fairly well-rounded prospect. He's going to need some time to become really serviceable as a catcher, but in the long run, this guy could become a real animal for any organization within MLB The Show franchise mode. He does not come in with any quirks, but he has so much potential value. He's a big guy. He plays a lot of positions. He has athleticism, and he's well-rounded enough that you're not going to be specifically sacrificing anything with this guy in the long run. You're going to be able to build up all of his numbers and make him a really good player. And as we get into the second half of this list, a very similar player is Sam Huff that might just be less expensive for you, but provides a lot of the same potential in the long run for your team. Again, he's coming in with good contact as a prospect with 55 and 50, solid power 50 and 60. He has good discipline at 60 and good starting off for a prospect, batting clutch at 59, and then he comes in with a really strong arm, 92 arm. This guy is going to be sacrificing in some areas in comparison to our last entry on this list, but this is a really good player to build upon. So if you just want an inexpensive catcher prospect option that is going to be really serviceable for you for years to come, you might want to look at Sam Huff. If you give this guy a little bit of developmental time and you really try to focus on specific ratings like his bat, you're going to have a really solid long-term option here, even if he's just your long-term catcher number 2. I really like what Sam Huff here has the potential to offer to any organization in MLB The Show 23. With the number 7 spot on this list, we can't forget about Austin Nola of the Padres, another player that is getting up there in age at 33 years old, but might provide more value than any of the other prospects or players we've named on this list so far. He can play first base, second base, third base, and left field, in addition to catcher. But what's really nice about this guy is his clutch. So he comes in with 64 contact versus right, 81 contact versus left. None of those are really eye-popping, but he comes in with 82 vision and 91 batting clutch. This is going to be a guy that you can count on with runners in scoring position. He's not fantastic defensively. It's just not going to be there for him. But as a potential offensive weapon, it's really there. And then he also has the unfazed quirk and breaking ball hitter quirk, which is just going to help him even more in those situations where runners are on in important positions. Being able to hit with 2 strikes, incredibly important, and being able to hit those breaking balls is just going to help him even more. So Austin Nola is a really discounted option for you that you should definitely bring in if you're considering getting one of those budget kind of bridge players that a lot of people are looking for at times. With number 8 on this list, we're going to highlight Bert Ruiz of the Nationals, a prospect that is the exact prospect you're going to want to look for if you're looking for an offensive catcher. Coming in at a 68 overall with B potential at 24 years old, he has 66 contact versus right, 71 contact versus left. His power is nothing special, but he has 92 vision, 50 discipline, 51 batting clutch, and then his defensive stats are going to be a serviceable level for a prospect. They're going to quickly increase with that B potential. He also already comes in with day player, pinch hitter, and bad ball hitter. This guy is going to be your true offensive catcher option as a prospect if you really want to add one to your team. This honestly is probably the guy that I see most of you going out and targeting if you're looking for a catcher after this video. Bert Ruiz has that awesome offensive potential that a lot of people are going to be looking for, and then the defensive stuff will come secondary, but it will build up over time considering he's 24 years old with B potential. With the 9th spot on this list, Reese McGuire, who has a lot of upside as a catcher. Unfortunately, he's now 28, so he's not going to progress much further than he is currently, but he is serviceable in certain areas, coming in with 72 contact versus right, 67 plate vision, and then his defensive statistics are really solid. 77 fielding, only 62 arm, but he has the 84 arm accuracy, which is going to help a lot of people if you do struggle with getting the ball to where you need it to be on some of those throws. 72 reaction, 63 blocking. He's going to be a really serviceable catcher. Not anything super special, but I really do feel like he has more value than a 67 overall C would typically kind of have for you. He does have, like I said, some value against righties at the plate, and he does have some value defensively as well. I've had a lot of success with this guy. He used to be a B potential player. He used to become a really good catcher in franchise mode, but a player that I think is still worth being on this list. With the 10th spot on this list, I wanted to highlight a low-end catching prospect that's not going to be super expensive, but it has a ton of upside because of their age. There are actually quite a few prospects on this list that meet the criteria. They're under 23 years old, so we're looking at a bunch of 19, 18-year-olds, 21, 22-year-olds that have the capability to become a good long-term catcher if you bring them in and plug them into your farm system. Pick any number of these players, and they're going to be solid for you guys. I like to highlight Endy Rodriguez. He should have a higher potential within the game than he does, but he only has C potential. He is going to be the Pirates' long-term solution at catcher, though, and he's going to be a really solid player. He comes in with solid contact and power for a 22-year-old and comes in with a decent arm to be able to build upon, but that's not even the best one on this list. I think, honestly, if you're looking for value, you're probably looking at a guy like Samuel Basallo, Moises Ballesteros, and I can't even guarantee that these are all necessarily real players, but in this roster, these are the players that are available. So look up and down this list, and you're probably going to be able to find somebody that you can plug into your farm system, and a couple of years down the line is going to be a really good catcher solution for you deep into your franchise. So again, there are a lot of players that have that potential with the 10 spot. I like Endy Rodriguez quite a bit, but that's because I play franchise with the Pirates. Nonetheless, I hope this video was useful for you or helpful in some way. I hope you guys enjoyed. I do apologize that it's been a while since I've put up a video, but nonetheless, I would like you guys to leave a like down below. Help us meet that like goal of 42. As always, though, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a good one.